haggis. It's a dish that divides opinions, but for those who love it, it's a true Scottish treasure. This traditional food, with its savory flavors and rich history, has long been a symbol of Scottish culture. But what exactly is haggis? How did it come to be, and why has it remained so important to Scottish identity, especially on occasions like Burns Night? Let's dive into the history, the preparation, and the passionate love Scots have for this iconic dish, and explore why haggis stand proudly at the center of their culinary tradition. Haggis, love it or loathe it, there's no denying that this dish holds a place of honor in Scotland's culinary history. Often regarded as the national dish, haggis is deeply entwined with Scottish identity, a symbol of tradition and a link to centuries of culture and heritage. But to the uninitiated, the question arises, what exactly is haggis? And why has it remained such a beloved, and sometimes controversial, part of Scottish cuisine? At its core, haggis is a savory pudding, made from a combination of sheep's offal, typically the heart, liver, and lungs, mixed with oatmeal, onions, suet, and a blend of spices. These ingredients are then packed into a sheep's stomach and simmered for hours. The result is a rich, hearty, and flavorful dish that embodies comfort food despite its modest ingredients. It's a meal that's both simple and complex, earthy and aromatic, with a flavor profile unlike anything else. The history of haggis stretches back to at least the 15th century, though some suggest it was enjoyed even earlier. The dish likely originated as a practical solution to using every part of an animal when resources were limited. In a time when wastefulness was not an option, the offal, those parts of the animal that were less valued, became the base of this hearty, nutritious meal. By combining it with oatmeal and spices, Scottish cooks were able to create a dish that could feed many people for a minimal cost, with ingredients that were easy to store and could last for weeks. Over the centuries, haggis evolved from a simple peasant dish into an emblem of Scottish pride. The culinary transformation of haggis coincided with the rise of Scottish nationalism, and by the 18th century, it had cemented its place at the heart of Scottish culture. Enter the poet Robert Burns, whose 1787 poem, Address to a Haggis, elevated the dish to iconic status. In the poem, Burns celebrates the haggis as the great chieftain of the puddin' race, giving it a revered status that has lasted to this day. Burns's ode to haggis was not just a tribute to the dish itself, but a reflection of the values of Scotland: resilience, ingenuity, and pride in the simple things. Today, haggis is most famously enjoyed during Burns Night, an annual celebration of Robert Burns's life and poetry, held on January 25th. It's a night where Scots gather together to honor their national poet, and, of course, to enjoy a traditional feast. The centerpiece of the evening is always the haggis, which is ceremoniously brought into the room while bagpipes play and a reading of Burns's address, To a Haggis, is recited. It's an occasion filled with pomp and celebration, where haggis, neeps, turnips, and tatties, potatoes, take their place as the focal point of the meal. But haggis isn't just for Burns Night. It's enjoyed year-round, and its versatility shines through. Whether served as a main course with mashed potatoes and turnips, or used as a filling for savory pies, haggis has evolved into a beloved comfort food across Scotland. The dish has also made its way onto the international stage, with creative twists appearing in restaurants worldwide. You might find it served with a whiskey cream sauce, or even used as a stuffing for turkey, showcasing the adaptability of this age-old dish. Yet despite all these variations, the heart of haggis remains unchanged. It's a celebration of Scottish culture, history, and community. One of the most striking things about haggis is its ability to bring people together. There's something about the act of preparing and sharing this dish that is rooted in hospitality and togetherness. It's not just about the food, it's about the experience. The communal nature of a Burns night supper, where haggis is served, fosters a sense of camaraderie, where friends and strangers alike can join in the celebration of Scottish heritage. It's a dish that invites stories to be shared, toasts to be made, and a connection to the land and people of Scotland. Despite its deep ties to Scotland, haggis has found itself at the center of international conversations. The dish has faced challenges over the years, particularly with the banning of imports of haggis to the United States in 1989 due to restrictions on importing sheep's lungs. However, Scotland's love for haggis remains unwavering, and alternative recipes using beef or pork instead of sheep offal have emerged to satisfy both local cravings and international demand. These adaptations allow the dish to live on, proving that even in the face of challenges, haggis is a food that refuses to fade away. But beyond the debates about what goes into the recipe or how it should be served, there's something undeniably comforting about haggis. Its warm, hearty flavors evoke a sense of homeliness, of tradition, and of connection to the past. There's a reason why it's still a favorite at weddings, celebrations, and family gatherings. It's a dish that's steeped in history and culture, and when you eat it, you can't help but feel a sense of pride in the Scottish traditions that have been passed down through the generations. Moreover, haggis also represents the Scottish spirit, resilient, resourceful, and bold. For centuries, it has endured, evolving with the times yet remaining true to its roots. It's a dish that reflects Scotland's history, from its peasant origins to its cultural renaissance, and it continues to be a part of the nation's identity. It's a reminder that food is not just sustenance, it's a way to connect to a place, a culture, and a people. Haggis is more than just a meal. It's a piece of Scotland's soul, a dish that has survived centuries of change and remains at the heart of Scottish culture. From its origins as a practical, humble meal to its role as the star of Burns night celebrations, haggis continues to represent the spirit of Scotland itself. Bold, proud, and full of life. So, whether you're enjoying it on a cold winter's evening or raising a glass to Robert Burns, remember that haggis is more than just a dish. It's a celebration of everything that makes Scotland unique. Thanks for joining us on this flavorful journey. And until next time, remember that good food can tell the best stories.